Hey, what's up everyone? This is Snackbox. Hope you all are having an amazing day, guys. In this video, I want to talk about possibly my best Chimera run ever. I did get a 6-star soul for Lydia yesterday. If you want to check that video out, not only did I get a 6-star Lydia, I also pulled some other amazing souls, so feel free to check that out. But in this video, I want to talk about my Ultra Nightmare Chimera run, and I absolutely crushed it this time. So this is the team I used. Normally, I use our base instead of Necmo. That just turned out to be, more efficient in terms of clash points. With my new upgrades, with the Lydia soul, and a couple of other things I want to talk about, my whole Chimera team approach changed. The main reason for that is basically the change with the ram form. Now we can actually negate the whole reflect damage just by putting True Fear on the Chimera clan boss. Now, Lydia only places the normal fear with her A1, but if you give her that Nature's Bounty blessing, she has a chance to convert that fear debuff into True Fear. Now, the higher the blessing, the higher the chance. Obviously, if you have a lower blessing, there's a lower chance to get the True Fear out of her A1. But in my case, my Lydia has a 6-star soul now, and this actually changed everything for me in terms of Chimera for the ram form. Now, let me pull up that video. I recorded my run, so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, there we go. So this is a team that I used, as I said. And before I jump into the run, I just want to talk about like what things changed in this team. So basically, before the update of the ram form, I actually used Brimstone on Lydia. And the reason for that is that she's in a 9-piece feral set. That means for every debuff, my champions get extra damage, 5% more damage for each debuff if you have a 9-piece feral set on Lydia, and Brimstone was adding another 5% to that. So in general, I did more damage. But now I was actually able to swap Brimstone to Necmo, and now there's actually nothing left that I really need. I do have Intimidating Presence. It could be higher, obviously. It's just a 3-star blessing on Siphi, but it's good enough. Cruelty on Mikage could be higher as well. Nature's Wrath on Ninja for him, right? To push his damage. Brimstone on Necmo. And now there's really nothing left that I could add to this team that would, just buff the team in general. So Nature's Bounty is the perfect thing to choose here. Obviously, I lose the 5% more damage from the Brimstone debuff, but in the end, it doesn't really matter because there is one little thing that I didn't know, and I think a lot of people don't know. I don't know, I was not aware of it until one of my clanmates actually told me this. So basically, this multiplier right here doesn't work retroactive. So basically, the damage you do will only get multiplied by the multiplier that you have at that exact moment. So if you get those trials on the ram form done pretty early, as you can see here, I got 6 trials done in the first ram form cycle. That means the whole damage now from here on, when I did get the 6th trial done, will be multiplied by this. And the multiplier grows with every additional trial you complete. So the earlier you complete these trials, the higher will be your clash score, basically. That's how it works. And now with the Nature's Bounty blessing and the chance to convert fear into True Fear and then negate the whole reflect damage on the ram form, you are actually able to complete a lot more trials on the ram form. Before that, we actually had to have block damage or unkillable, so our damage dealer wouldn't kill himself all the time. But yeah, let's start from the first ram form, and I'll walk you through everything. So basically, my Lady Mikage has the lowest crit damage, so she will be the dual target, she will get killed, but that's totally fine. Now my ninja won't kill himself because I don't have attack up, right? And there will be reflect damage, but as you can see, it only took like 50% of my ninja's HP. Now, I actually already placed the first debuff with ninja, so the debuffs won't get reflected, but I chose to use the A3 from Lydia because now I can actually use the ally attack with Lady Mikage. I revived her with Sifi. And once I use this ally attack, Lydia will actually attack before Ninja, because that's how I placed them in the team setup. Before you go into the fight, let me actually show you that first. So here you can see Necmo is in the lead spot, Lydia in the second spot, and then Ninja. And that is very important for the ramp form, because with the ally attack from Lady Mikage, Lydia will attack first, put the True Fear, the reflect damage will eventually get negated or reduced, and then Ninja goes and doesn't get killed by the reflect damage. So that is a really important detail. But yeah, back to the run. Another thing that you have to pay attention to before you go into the ramp form, you want to make sure to buff increase accuracy with Lady Mikage on everybody, so you can complete that first trial here. Trial number 2, place 7 unique debuffs on the Chimera within 5 of its turns while your champions are under increased accuracy buffs. And that was really important to do before I go into the ramp form, because my Lady Mikage will be targeted by the Chimera and killed, and then I don't have enough time to place that increased accuracy and do all the other things. And you also want to make sure your transformation into the other form is also ready, so once I pick Lady Mikage up, I can instantly go into attack mode, right, into ally attacks and all that stuff, and push my damage. So that was really important to do. Now, as you can see, I'm doing the ally attack. Lydia will place the fear first, and Ninja heals himself as well. He doesn't even get damaged because of the leech, and that was absolutely amazing. As you can see, he's healing more than he's getting reflected. From here on, I just do the usual stuff. Obviously, I want to keep that block debuffs up so I don't get stunned and controlled and all that stuff. And now I don't have fear on him, so I'm gonna kill myself. There's no way around it, right? Ninja is about to die now, but that's totally fine. I just have to live with it. But he already did a couple of hits without getting killed by the reflect damage, which was absolutely amazing. And now there it is. Look at this. There is the True Fear. So now if I pick Ninja up, there will be absolutely no reflect damage. I can't kill him by attacking the ramp form. And that is so much more enjoyable now. That is such a relief, because before that I was able to do a couple of these trials, but it was really a struggle. Now it just felt way smoother. It felt way better. And it's just cool that we have this option now to deal with the ramp form with just placing fear. And with Lydia, it's a free-to-play champion basically, and the right blessing, you're now to get rid of the whole reflect damage thing, and you don't have to bring a block damage or an unkillable champ in here, and that is absolutely amazing. This allowed me to complete 6 trials in total on the ramp form. Let me actually show you. In the end, I did 6 trials in the first ramp form cycle. With the last hit, I actually completed the 6th one. As you can see, I completed 2 on trial number 1, 3 on trials number 2, and 1 on trial number 3. And actually, if you are luckier with the True Fear and you just place it more often, you can probably even get 7 trials done in the first cycle. And that is absolutely amazing. That absolutely blew my mind. I was so happy about this because, you play these things out in your head, you strategize them, you build your champions, and then it works like a charm, and that just gives me so much joy, and I really love this. So having completed 6 trials by turn 11 absolutely boosted my clash score significantly, because I had that increased multiplier earlier than in all my previous runs that I did on Ultra Nightmare. And by the time I got to the Viper form, turn 27, I completed 15 trials and my multiplier was at 23 already. But that's not it. I actually completed a total amount of 16 trials. I got another trial done on the RAM form, and I almost did 17 trials. So here you can see it. It's turn 39. It means we only have one more turn left, one more attack left from the ramp form. I just had to block another 3 debuffs using the block debuffs from Siphi, but I couldn't get it done. I just messed it up a little bit. But to be honest, it's possible. It was absolutely possible. I just used the wrong skills at the wrong time. And that caused me to fumble this hard trial from trials number 3. But it's absolutely amazing for me to know that this is actually possible to complete almost all the ramp form trials now. That is so mind-blowing for me, because prior to that, I did maybe 3 of maximum of 4 trials on the RAM form. And now I'm almost able to complete all of them, and that is absolutely amazing. But one thing I want to talk about is that I had to be really careful with the amount of buffs that I'm placing, because with 16 trials, the Chimera is hitting very, very hard, and you don't want to have any buffs on you that that can be stripped by the Chimera, because that just adds more damage, and there's a chance that the Chimera will wipe your whole team. It was really dangerous. This was actually my first run that I did like this with the new setup, and as you can see, there's no buffs. Right? No buffs that were stripped, and still my Necmo almost died. So everybody else is like half HP except Siphi, because Siphi is a little bit tankier than the others. But yeah, it was really dangerous, and I was scared, and that caused me to drop all my buffs like really early, like 2 turns before the Chimera swaps back from the Ram, Viper, or Lion form into this form. I stopped buffing immediately. Now the Ram form was actually hitting really hard, and sometimes it was really close, but I think the decreased attack from Necmo kinda gets things under control, as well as the strengthen and the increased defense buff from Siphi and Lydia helped to survive these line form attacks, but the damage is significantly higher than it was before the update. So yeah, in the end, I ended up with 200, what was it, 213 million damage, 16 trials, and yeah, I'm absolutely happy with this score, with this outcome. 16 trials is the most amount of trials I ever done on Ultra Nightmare, and all because of this new update, this new change of the RAM form, and the blessing on Lydia. Obviously, the soul that I pulled yesterday helped a lot. The 6-star soul, such a game changer for Chimera. And yeah, this was the last score, 215 million damage, 4.5 billion clash points, also the most amount of clash points I ever did. My best was 4 billion, and I'm using Necmo instead of R-Base. Normally R-Base caused me to do more damage, but yeah, this time around it was much better. It felt so smooth. Yeah, I'm absolutely amazed by it, and I really love this comp now. And there are still so many things that I could change and improve. Better blessings for everyone. I really appreciate the changes on the RAM form. It just makes it so much more enjoyable now. And yeah, I'm super happy, as I said. These are the rewards that I got: 51 rare, 34 epic, 6 legendary, and 16 mythical material. It's actually nothing crazy. 16 mythical materials are not crazy good, but good enough for me. I'm really more so happy about that I can now easily get to 8 billion clash points each week with this team composition. And as you can see here, I did this nightmare run here before I got the 6-star Lydia soul. Here I was using the brimstone blessing on her, and yeah, 307 million damage, pretty interesting. But now I don't know, I think I can get like 18 trials done on nightmare with this team now, with the 6-star blessing from Lydia. I think it's possible. We will see next week. But yeah, I'm super happy that I can get to 8 billion clash points each week, because that means, I can collect more gemstones, and it really adds up over time. But now let me show you the builds for my team. So Lady Mikage is my ramp form dual target, and she's at 100k HP, almost 3.9k defense, 311 speed, and 154 crit damage. This is the lowest I have. 316 accuracy was totally fine to do everything she needs to do. Purged Shadow at 3-star +9 really helps with the extra turns. Just this added so much damage to my run. I don't really have fitting gemstones for her, but I use these ones here at the moment, and they are actually not bad because sometimes, you know, Ninja kills himself on the ramp form or whatever, and then, you know, I get some additional speed. It doesn't really change that much, but it does help a little bit. Then she's almost completely booked. The A1 is not. I have Cruelty on her, and these are the masteries. Then my ninja is in a Zeal, 6-piece Merciless, and 1-piece Pinpoint set. These are the stats: 52k HP, 8.8k attack, 218 speed. You want to target at least 100% crit rate, obviously. 330% crit damage, 345 accuracy. Now, this is something I would love to improve. So once I get a 5-star soul for him, he will get additional accuracy and then place his HP burns more frequently and just add up his, ramp up his damage quicker because I have the erratic coronet on him. So I need him to place 8 debuffs to maximize those 30% more damage. And with a little bit more accuracy, he will stack this up way quicker, because sometimes he still gets resisted on Ultra Nightmare. Then these are the gemstones that I'm using. The Boss Slayer gemstone is the absolute best gemstone you can use for boss fights. Adds another 10% damage. He's completely booked. I got Nature's Wrath. Once I hit the 6-star soul, I would change to Crushing Rend, because the Chimera defense is so high that Crushing Rend will perform better than Nature's Wrath. And these are the masteries. I went with Helm Smasher for additional defense ignore eventually. Now, this is my Lydia in a 9-piece Feral set. I got her crit capped, 190% crit damage, 64k HP, 3k attack, 4.6k defense. I would actually love to get, maybe her attack up with an attack chest, so she would deal more damage. Now with the 6-star soul, I have her at 336 speed, so very fast actually. 605 accuracy, this is more than enough. Honestly, I could drop this a little bit, but that's just how it is for now. I do have an accuracy banner, which I could probably swap out for something else. I also have a defense percentage chest, which I don't really like, because at some point the Chimera is going to ignore defense, and then the defense doesn't really help. So I would rather have a HP percentage chest or an attack percentage chest for more damage. Then I have this Gaze of Damnation on her. Quite interesting, right? And what this does is the wearer deals 2% more damage per skill activated. It stacks up to 10. At +9, it's actually 14. And receives 1% less damage per skill not activated. Stacks up to 7. By enemies under fear or true fear debuffs, and I was just trying it out. I don't know if it did anything, but I basically just used it for the additional crit damage and accuracy. And to be honest, I didn't know what else to put on her, but I was just thinking, she has a fear on the A1 for the ramp form, and maybe this does add a little bit more damage. Even if it's just 1 million more clash score, I'll take it. She's completely booked, and here's the Nature's Bounty. So this is the one blessing that changed my whole ramp form dynamic because of, the conversion to True Fear. Here you can see it in the list. It is in here. It has a 60% chance at 6-star to place the greater version of that debuff, and 60% is a lot. I did place a lot of True Fears during the ramp form cycles. Sometimes I did place the fear, but most of the time I actually placed the greater version, the True Fear. Now, if you have a lower blessing, obviously the chance will be lower and your True Fear will not place that often, but still it is a chance. I think at 3-star, 30% is still a really high chance, especially with Lady Mikage and the ally tag. You have an additional A1 attack, right? So it might work if you get lucky. Maybe you just have to retry a couple of times. Really, the main thing is to complete those trials in the first cycle. So basically, you go to the first cycle of the ramp form, and if your True Fear procs, great. You keep the 6 or 5 trials you got, and just continue with the run, because you want to get those trials done as soon as possible, because the multiplayer doesn't work retroactive, so it boosts your clash score immediately. And then here are the masteries. I have her with War Master for additional damage. This also really helped pushing my damage in general. Here's my Necmo in Relentless and 4-piece Merciless set. And these are the stats: 54k HP, 4k attack, 3.5k defense, 289 speed. I wish I could make him way faster than this. Hopefully I'll get some better Relentless gear, or maybe even Merciless with higher speed rolls. That would absolutely help. He is crit capped, 212 crit damage and 468 accuracy. Ideally, you would want to have like 500, 520 accuracy to, be consistent with the debuff placement, but it worked perfectly fine for me. And I have the Purged Shadow Relic on him, and that means he will get so many more extra turns. You have a chance of 14% if it's at 3-star plus 9 to receive an extra turn when using their default skill, if at least one active skill is on cooldown, and his skills are most of the time on cooldown, so this is absolutely amazing. Also, I have this, whereas accuracy increases by 3 per each buff on them, I have a lot of buffs, so that's probably also why I can get away with this amount of accuracy. I have 2 of those gemstones, and that means if I have like 5 buffs on Necmo, he will get additional 30 accuracy, and that's probably what evens out my lower accuracy. And then he's completely booked. I changed him to Brimstone, as I said, because before I had it on Lydia, now I put it on him. This also added some more damage and helped with some of the trials, especially on the Ram form. And these are his masteries. Now here's my Siphi, and I also changed some things with my Siphi. She's in a 9-piece protection set, as always. These are the stats: 395 speed, I got her a little bit faster, 78k HP, 4.9k defense, 157 crit damage. I had to give her a crit damage amulet to make sure that she had higher crit damage than Lady Mikage, so that was important, that was mandatory. Then I also gave her the Purged Shadow, and this was actually a huge game changer for me. I also give her these gemstones here, so her heals are 20% more effective. This really helped. And the reason why I gave it to her is because her speed boost has a 4-turn cooldown. So when I boost, when I do this and I buff and boost, I have a 4-turn cooldown on the skill, and all I'm doing is basically A1. So every time I use the A1, I have a chance for an extra turn, and that really helped. Before that, I had the Journal of Necrotos, but the Journal of Necrotos just adds a little bit more turn meter, and it doesn't really help that much, because the turn meter boost from Siphi's A2 is just 10%. It doesn't really add much to it, but if I get an extra turn and I can cycle it back more often, I can boost way more turn meter and also keep the buffs up. So that was actually pretty important and such a huge game changer. But also I can, cycle that revive back fast enough, especially on the Ram form when Ninja kills himself, which still happens sometimes, not as often as before, but it still happens. And now I can actually cycle that revive back fast enough with those extra turns and make sure Ninja is back up again. So that was pretty interesting. And I also changed her masteries, gave her War Master, so she added a little bit more damage as well. All these changes just made my run so much smoother. I feel like I'm really moving in the right direction and getting closer to having my team perfectly optimized for Chimera. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about these Chimera changes? I really think they're absolutely great. I really love them now. I really enjoy Chimera so much more now with this update of the Ram form. I don't really worry about the line form too much. The line form does more damage than before, but before it was also really harmless, to be honest. So now I think it's really balanced. Also, I noticed that some of the Ram form trials did actually get a little bit nerfed, so you don't have to deal as much damage as before. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy with the outcome. And yeah, if you enjoyed the content, please subscribe to the channel and also hit the thumbs up. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. and see you in the next one.